So I get her stripped, and of course the rain starts coming in. It's been raining off and on all day. I thought I was having some dry spell come in, but these thunderheads just keep coming through. Not supposed to complain about that in the desert, but I got all the Lennox stripped off. You can see this is like the remnants of what was going on with this truck. When I bought it in 2014, it looked beautiful. Like the white paint was pristine, looking good, shiny. But this is the problem. I've seen 2008 Suburbans with this same problem. White peels off of the factory primer. So I had a lot of this showing when I handed it off to those guys at Line-X. 40 grit. I'm pretty sure that's what they told me they used. You can see some of the scratches I've got in here and here from using that power scraper. But that is, I mean, that is so freaking rust. I'm gonna have to sand it down a little bit. You can see I was beating on this a little bit to straighten it out. I'm gonna be putting some body filler on that after I clean up this rust with some of the rust dissolver. A little bit down there, a little bit there. There's even tiny rust spots down in here, which is fully covered by Line-X. So in here, I did once upon a time ago do some Rust-Oleum in here, and I'll probably leave that just like that. Once I mask all this off, some of the primer will come over the side, and we'll cover all that. But I don't know, with it raining like this, can I even spray anything yet? I don't know, maybe it'll dry enough. As I'm looking up there, see some blue sky, right? But yeah. Alright. The other thing I want to get to too is Bushwhackers, their kit for their fender flares gives you a couple of L-tabs that you're supposed to rivet in here to tie these two back together, because that means when you've cut this, you've detached part of the fender from the other part of the fender. This is the under fender, this is the main outer fender. And so I need to get some strips of metal in there and just do a whole bunch of welding in there. I don't know that I need to do more than 2 or 3 just to hold it together, maybe 4 of them. Just a strip here, a strip there. I was hoping that it was a little bit more uniform, and I maybe could bring the grinder in here and cut that a little more uniform, but then it necks down to here. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I mean, I could cut a thin piece like that and then tack weld all that stuff in. I got to think about that. That might be tomorrow morning when I get to this. But I do want to get that cleaned up, get this coated, and see how much more I can get done. I'm fighting a freaking head cold. It's May, and I'm sick again. So sick of being sick. I gotta get that silicone off of there too. I sealed a lot of these with silicone. You saw me cut those 2 out because they were jacked up. So it's pretty simple when you do it. You just get your little cutoff wheel and cut X's on them until you've got enough of that head off. Then you can poke them on through. And at least here I've got access to the backside, so no big deal. Alright, enough of a talk break. Let's get back to work. Alright, I just hit it with some 320 on the DA just to knock down a lot of the roughness that the 40 grit left. That'll make it a little more manageable, but man, is this thing going to have a heck of a mechanical key. When you look at what I did with the rest of the truck, those scratches are still there. I mean, you can see here, I tried playing around with some of the glaze putty, and that did fill in a lot of those scratches, which was pretty cool. But I'm not about to do that on the whole freaking door. So some of these scratches that still telegraph through, they're always going to be there. I mean, if you were trying to take this truck after what they did to it back into the status of real paint, it'd be best just to get new fenders and new doors, because they junked these. They're all messed up. So, alright, I think I'm done talking at the camera for a minute or two. I'm going to mask. I'm going to paint. Well, before I even get to that, I'm going to go for the rust dissolver. I showed that in the last video, so I'll be done from here. Dare I even try to record? I'm not sure how I'm going to set this camera. Metal there. So now this doesn't flap around. Biggest thing is to be able to put some mud there. This is all bulged out. There's no way this would be close to looking neat with factory. I need a piece here, but the wind is blowing away and the rain's coming down too, but it's blowing away my gas. So this has to wait for another day. I want a piece in here because this still moves. That's still pretty flexible. I just put a piece in there, tighten that up, keep it solid. Those welds ain't pretty. I never claimed to be any sort of expert at this. I'm just a dude in his garage doing the best he can. Which Mother Nature's playing around with me again. It's funny, after that's drying, I can see tiger stripes and stuff in there. It could use a whole nother coat. That was just one of those 2K cans. Could use more. Once I've got this ready, then I'll do it. If it wasn't going to be raining, I was going to finish this up and strip that down there and get the whole side done, but no, it looks like I'm done for the day. A few things that are for sure. I'm not good with sheet metal. There's a lot of ugliness in there, but they are solidly joined, so that part of the fender and that part of the fender is now solid again. It's ugly. If this is something I was actually trying to make look pretty, I'd probably go and swipe this with some fiberglass, some Bondo glass type stuff. But it's all in there several places. Man, was I just screwing around in this one trying to figure out how to get it right. Did better on these ones, but that big old blowout holes kind of got better as I got over here. Still ugly. Another thing that's certain is those that know how to do this aren't around to help me with it, so I'm on my own. I'm getting it done. But that's solid. That's solid. Yes, the whole thing is freaking wrinkled. Oh well. The only place that's really gonna, for some reason right here, that little divot hole, is a dent that might show up. But those, they were kind of like that because when I put the riv nuts in there, it kind of deformed the metal a little bit. I got dips here, I got a dip here. I think I kind of held the shape here, but a lot of this I am going to swipe anyway because there's all those dents in there. So next thing is clean this up, get some mud on it, and then prime it all. And I look at this inner fender, I just need to get a new one. Get a new one and make this cut a whole lot more conformed to those WFO tower on both sides, because they left me a big old gap in here that, yeah, I'd rather have that covered, and I'd rather have the bracket here attached to stuff. I'll get there eventually, someday. Yeah, and this one I can probably bring this back again because the tires don't come near that anymore, I don't think. I'm talking because I'm tired and I want to work. I'm still getting over being sick. But yeah, break's over. I'm back on your heads. Alright, it's Memorial Day. This is what I'm doing with my time. You can see the difference in how much paint I laid down on this front fender versus those two doors. Huge difference. Those two doors are too light. I'm going to have to do more paint, and I will. I had wanted to get down to that last quarter panel, but that's not going to happen today. I'm still fighting this head cold. I'm still pretty sick. But those are those Spray Max cans. I like them. Good pattern of paint down. I only had runs in a couple of places. This fender's by no means show quality. Doesn't need to be. You get up close enough. Will this camera pick up the scratches that you can see in person from that freaking 40 grit that they did on this? They're everywhere. I did some mud in here, and that was only just to even out all the bumpiness that happened when the tire impacted that when I had shorter arms. Long story short, right? But yeah, I need to go at it again. I'm gonna have to put more of a coat of paint on those two doors because they still very tiger stripey, very much not thick enough. And then I'm gonna have to do the same thing to that rear quarter that I did where the bushwhacker fender is, meaning I'm gonna have to get metal in there. And yeah, since I had the mud, I swiped it in there so it looks a little cleaner. Not that that will ever show. It was just I had the mud. There's no point really in beating this dead horse much longer. You can see what I'm doing. You can see how I'm going to get to where I'm at. So the next video I do, it's going to be after I'm done with all of this. And I'll show you what I really intend to do with this truck. There's still long road to go. It'll be sometime end of June probably by the time I get it all done. But if you come this far, appreciate you watching. Hope you got some tips and tricks as far as how to actually deal with the Bushwhacker fender flares if you got a welder and the patience to do little zip welds, little tack welds and stuff. If I ever go and get a new fender, I know now how to make the cuts a little bit cleaner on this side. I did okay up here and back here, but here I'd do it differently. I could. I might not. I don't know. Yeah, I appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.